You are what you consume. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 124 of our Supersize You annual challenge. And this whole month, we're talking about mental health and well-being. The things we think, the things we believe, all of the things related to the different levels of our mind, our consciousness, our superconscious, our subconscious. We haven't talked about those yet, but we're going to dive into them because just like they say, you are what you eat. And guess what? Everybody can see that by the results of your physical fitness, your energy, etc. We think that at least I used to think that I could get away with eating and doing whatever I wanted. But when I gained weight, everybody would notice. Now, does everybody care? Not so much, but we know. And it reduces our self-esteem and things. The same is true of our mental diet, the things that we consume, the things we pay attention to. Our attention is literally our most valuable resource now that we can give away or other people can try to capture from us, right? So it matters what we consume, what we feed our mind, what we watch, what we listen to, what we scroll on social media, what we read, podcasts, whatever. Readers are leaders, by the way. If you don't read every single day, and I'm not talking reading text messages on your phone, I'm talking pick up and actually read a book, something that nourishes your mind and gets you thinking. One of the most important things we can do in this day and age of AI, artificial intelligence and things like that, to compete is to be more human. And that means to be a better version of ourselves, a better human, right? So we do that by choosing what we let into our thoughts and beliefs and feelings. If you are scrolling, and I just heard this term not too long ago called doom scrolling, when you're just going through the feed on the social media platform, it doesn't matter which one because most of them have it. And there's like news feed and junk and people's opinions coming up and a whole lot of untruths because we used to be able to depend on the media, but now you absolutely cannot believe anything the media says. It's all about entertainment. It's all about eyeballs. It's all about capturing as much attention as they absolutely positively can. And that means they will say outrageous things. They will twist things. I learned this in the newspaper business. I started off in high school. I was in journalism and I went to some journalism camps and I went to college thinking I would be a journalist, only to change my mind the first semester because back then, and this was a long time ago now, I'm pretty old, you could see the times were changing and the old who, what, where, when, why, and how, which is a framework I still love and use because it does help me to frame and problem solve and make sure I've got all the information I need in any given situation. But beyond that, now it's all about how and who can we manipulate, including our audiences here in America, which is just frightening that that's even allowed. But I don't want to digress about that. But the truth is, garbage in, garbage out. I bet you've heard that saying before. I bet you heard it in school, right? Grade school, middle school, high school. That's where I first heard it. What we put into ourselves is what comes out. What we put into our minds is what comes out. If you listen to a whole lot of or follow a whole lot of like negative, political, and most politics to me is negative, political stuff, that's what's going to spew out of your mouth because it doesn't take very long before what you're listening to becomes your beliefs. As humans, sometimes we're weak and we will go with the flow of whatever's going on around us. Look at the COVID pandemic as an example. Unbelievable. But we need to keep that in mind. And really, I was talking to a friend the other day and I was saying, you need to create a little bubble around yourself that all the negativity and stuff that is in your environment just bounces right off you. I call it a shield of protection, which sounds really woo-woo and strange, but guess what? It's important. We decide what we let into our mind, our thinking, our beliefs, whether we believe it or not. And the more negative you're inundated with, the harder that is and the better shield or bubble of protection you need to form around yourself. If anybody wants to know more about that, ask me. I'm not going to go into it here, but it's a really good tool for making sure you filter what does and does not get into your thinking, your psyche, your brain, etc. I, for this very reason, turned off the radio in my car decades ago. And I would only listen to either learning things or courses and things on cassette tapes, back when cassettes were a thing. Remember those before CDs? Now I don't even think people use CDs anymore. They just stream everything. But back in the day when I was driving to and from work and commuting, I would spend that time like a little university on wheels, always improving my skills and learning and growing. Why? So that I could be a better leader and a better manager at the businesses that I was working for. And then finally, curate and consciously choose what you're going to participate in. Now, I will admit that the last couple of days, have been watching a no-mind apocalyptic alien adventure show on Netflix because my brain needed a break. I'm working on a couple of really big projects and I needed just some no-mind things to have in the background. And I noticed that my motivation has gone down. My motivation to work on the projects that I'm working on got a little chink in it. And I'm like, okay, that's not going to work for me. So I stopped watching it. I'm like, it's just a distraction. And yes, I needed a distraction for a little while, but I don't need it all the time. But it's like any habit. You can get back into a habit of doing things that aren't good for you because they're comfortable in your comfort zone, and your subconscious loves to just keep you in that same little circle, same little box all the time. But we can consciously override that, correct? So today, what's our action item? I'm going to do this one right along with you. Think about the last 24 hours, and I just shared one of my biggest pitfalls in the last 24 hours, was watching that show. So think about what you consumed, what you let into your mind in the last 24 hours. I also let some really good things into my mind, right? I listened to a couple of recorded calls. I got on a live call for a community that I'm a part of. I worked on my project that I'm working on rolling out for my Supersize Your Business group and community. Things like that. But write down most of what you consumed in the last 24 hours. Did you get in an argument with somebody? Did you have a political discussion with somebody? Heaven forbid, that'll be on the list for so many people. I got to spend time with my son and his girlfriend and some friends and my family, my daughter and her my two granddaughters and my son-in-law, which is always good to feed our relationships and feed ourselves, love and acceptance and things like that. Those emotions, we want to make sure we're taking in the things that make us feel that way, as well as what we're thinking about the situations that we're in, because our thoughts link to our emotions and they all go in our subconscious and pop up when we need them and when we don't need them. So that's what we're doing for our action item today. Share in the comments below one thing that you are consciously choosing to do today to feed your mind. A podcast, a book, a show you're going to watch, a webinar, a course, a documentary, whatever it is. Maybe you're just going to phone a friend and have a nice conversation with your most positive favorite friend in the whole wide world. But whatever it is, write it in the comments below so we can get ideas from one another and learn from one another. I don't know what mine's going to be yet today. I haven't thought of it, but I will put mine in the comments below too. Any questions about this? Just ask. Please just reach out and ask. Otherwise, have an awesome day. And I'm going to be with you tomorrow. Bye.